In the last 4 years, I've gone from $0 to $1.4 million with copywriting. It's allowed me to travel the world, work on my own terms, and take care of people that I care about. And today, I'm going to give you the biggest and most comprehensive course on copywriting that exists on planet Earth. If you watch the entire thing, you'll literally have everything you need to build a 0 to 10k a month copywriting business, all free of charge. But look, I'm not going to brag and waffle about my lifestyle. I'm just going to give you 10 hours of straight value on every single step of the process to building a copywriting business that makes you money. So here are the modules I'm going to cover today, and some of these are going to be pulled from my paid program called Apex, and a lot of them are actually new and I've filmed them specifically for this course. I've honestly spent hundreds of hours putting together this course, and I've hired a team of people to help me build it, so I'm really excited to bring it to you. So we're going to go through how to write copy, how to find and attract business owners, and how to convert those business owners into paying clients so you can build a business that lets you travel the world, work on your own terms, and honestly do whatever it is you want to do with that money. As a quick side note, if you'd like to get 30 secret copywriting and business tips over the next 30 days from me, you can sign up down below and get them sent straight to your inbox free of charge. So without further ado, let's kick off with our first module, which is by far the most important. The first module is all about your mindset. You've probably heard the phrase, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to teach you today. There are plenty of gurus out there who will give you quick fixes or templates that are probably outdated, and if they're not outdated, they will be in a few weeks. But without understanding the fundamentals of how to actually run a business and write good copy, you'll never stand a chance at actually creating an income for yourself. So, grab a notebook, clear your mind, and let's make some money. Welcome to lesson 1 of this Apex Mindset module. This lesson is all about my number 1 rule in running a business. I apply it to my own business. Every single member of staff knows what this is, and this is all about speed. Speed is the most important thing if you want to succeed in business. Absolutely, I cannot stress this enough. Like, if you do not have speed on your side, if you do not do things quickly, if you do not expect things to be done quickly by other people that you pay, you are not going to get anywhere in business. And as an example, one of the guys on my team, Jacob, who came through my program, got loads of results, started making like 10k a month. I said, hey, do you want to work with me? I'll let you be my coach. And this is a guy who's making like 10k a month as a copywriter, right? And I brought him on. I would give him tasks to do. These are simple tasks, right? And it would be like, yeah, I'll do that in 2 weeks. Like, it'll take me like 2 weeks. I'll have a look at it. I've got all this other client work on. And I was like, no, it's not going to be done in 2 weeks. That could be done in like 1 day. And honestly, like 3 hours. So I was like, what are you doing with your time? And at the start, he was like, no, there's no way I could physically do that in a day. That takes a couple of weeks. And then I looked at what he was doing with his time. And like, he'd be getting clients and spending so much time on stupid shit that he didn't need to do. Like, things like he was editing video content for people who needed copywriting work. And I just told him, I was like, why are you spending 2 hours to edit a small video when you could detail what the process is and give it to an editor who can do it for $10? I was like, why are you wasting 2 hours? You are a copywriter. Your job is to make money, right? Your job is to write copy and make money, not to sit and edit videos. And so when I understood that, like, all the other stupid shit that he was doing, and I also understood the tasks, all the tasks I had done myself before, I just needed someone else to do them. That's why I was paying for it. And I was paying to speed things up. I was not paying for someone to take 2 weeks to do something that took me 2 hours, right? And so speed is the most important element in actually succeeding in business. So many people, and I'm not even joking, I remember there were other people, whenever I first started my first business, I remember there were other people starting businesses at the same time. And while my first focus was like, I need to get money in the door. I need to provide some service that people want to pay for, make money, and worry about all the other stuff like legal company setup, all that sort of stuff later. That is on the later base because I had so much other stuff to do. It's not illegal to start a business without setting that up. You just set it up later. But most people focus on all this stupid, pointless stuff that doesn't actually bring in money. They want to watch 50 million Hormozy videos on how to get everything perfect before they set something up. And they don't understand, like, you just need to move at speed. The quicker you get money in the door, the quicker you're able to go. If you don't get money in quickly, if you don't set up your business quickly and get good at things quickly, you honestly stand no chance in business because everybody else is moving fast. Like, the internet has allowed everybody to come on and make a business, and you are ahead. If you've paid for this program, you've obviously understood speed because you know how many people are trying to do the same thing as you. And luckily you've made a good decision because you've bought the best program on planet Earth for becoming a freelance copywriter that makes 10 grand a month, right? And you knew that if you didn't buy this, you'd be wasting months and months or even years of your life on trying to do all this by yourself. So many people just watch endless YouTube videos, just constantly watching YouTube videos for months and months and think they'll figure it all out by themselves. Anytime I have a problem in business, I find someone who's good at that thing and I pay them and I tell them, hey, I need to know how to do this. I don't get them to do it for me. If it's a large business decision, like how do I actually think about this process in business or how do I do this thing, I pay someone who's done it before to tell me how to do it, right? And usually it stings because these people who are good at business don't give away all their information for free. Like, they're not incentivized. They'll give away all the basic stuff on YouTube, but they don't give away the high level stuff, the day-to-day stuff that like you just couldn't put into a YouTube video. Because if, let's say for example, you're dealing with a bad client in your business, right? That's not going to make for a very good YouTube video. So nobody's going to make a video on how to deal with one specific type of client problem. Let's say the problem is like, oh, they're not paying because they're not happy with this revision. How do I deal with this? I can coach that person because they've paid me. But if that person wants to go and find the solution to that problem on YouTube, they're not going to find it. Or if they do find it, it's going to take them months and months to solve that problem. And that's just one tiny little element of them getting paid and them making money. People are so slow to make decisions. And I know I'm coming across here quite enraged, but I'm just like, I've dealt with so many people who are so slow, and I don't want you to be one of them because I want you to succeed with this course. And if you're going to do that, you need to move at absolute rapid speed. So many people, they just don't understand like how quickly you have to move. And so this is going to come up through the course. Like, I'm going to talk about this in so many lessons. Revert back to rule number 1, speed, because if you don't understand how to do this, if you don't like even like small things, right? Like bookmarks, my digital workspace. When people, sometimes I've had friends in my office, right? And they'll watch me work and it's literally like, okay, I need to pull this up. I like 2 clicks and it's there. And then I watch them do it on a Zoom. Like, I've had staff members, like, I'm like, pull that up for me. And it takes them like 5 minutes to find the folder. You need to understand how to move at speed. Throughout this course, I'm going to show you some of this stuff, but I can't show you every single, like, I can't show you, I have to teach you how to fish, right? There's the old saying, teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Feed a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, right? And so if I have to tell you every single time that you're doing something slowly to do it faster, you're not building a business. You're basically just doing what I tell you. You need spoon-fed, and you cannot build businesses if you're being spoon-fed. You are the person that is now in control of how fast you move. There are some students that come in here that take months and months and months and they don't do anything, and they don't understand why they're not getting clients. And then there are some students who just come in here and within a month, we literally just had a guy yesterday who's just closed 2 clients on revenue share deals and base fees. Like, he's made like $1,000 already as a copywriter, and he came into the same program that these other people came into and didn't get results. Now, I'm not saying that these people are bad or they've done anything wrong. Maybe they just haven't allocated time to go through the course yet. But if you're going through the same information as someone else and getting vastly different results, you have to look at how fast you're doing things. This is the last thing I'm going to use to wrap it up, right? Look at all of the influencers over the years that have, come and gone, right? And then you have a couple of people at the top. Influencers, this is just one of many examples, right? Influencers, so there's like KSI and Logan Paul, right? I don't really care about these people specifically, but you understand, like, how does someone get to that level in the same time span as somebody else? Because I guarantee you there are other people who spend the same amount of time on focused on becoming a big influencer and getting loads of views and making loads of money. They spend the same amount of time as KSI or Logan Paul, but they just spend it doing low output activities. So that all comes down to speed. Like, these guys know if they allocate their time to the most important activities first, and then outsource everything else and don't worry about all the stupid little small details, focus on the big details and do them at speed. And I said that was my final point. I have one last point. A lot of people conflate speed with quality. They think if they do something fast, it's not going to be done well. Not true. If you are doing anything at speed, you can do it at the same quality. You just don't understand. It's like all these mini processes throughout your day that you're just doing slowly. Like if you come in and it takes you like 10 minutes to load up your computer because you turn it off every night, or you have 50 tabs open, and anytime you go to look for something, you have to search through all these tabs, and your computer's really slow because you just haven't organize your computer properly. If you're doing things like that on a daily basis, like 50 times a day, 100 times a day, if you're trying to grow a business, and if that goes to every single part of your life, like if you don't have a clear system and structure for literally everything, why do you think like big business entrepreneurs and CEOs and politicians, why do you think they have a team of people around them at all times? It's because these people do all the little small shit that they don't want to do because they have to focus on the big important shit and they want to move at speed. And you need to think the same. So that's lesson 1, speed. Very, very important. I will refer to this over and over and over and over again. You need to do the important stuff. Luckily, we will tell you you've made the absolute best decision on planet Earth joining this program, and we are going to tell you how to apply speed to different things. And we will, like when we're coaching you, we are going to emphasize speed all the time. You need to do this faster. You need to do more. You need to do more. If you have enough time to write 5 pieces of copy per day instead of 1, some people come in here and they have less time than others. If you have enough time to write 5 pieces of copy per day, you need to be doing that. That's the first thing you need to do, is get good at copywriting. The sooner you do that, the sooner you can move on to client acquisition, you move on to making more money. But you can't make money until you've done that. So look, we're going to emphasize speed throughout this course, and I'm going to end this lesson here. So now that you know the core principle behind running this business, it's absolutely imperative that you understand how to create an environment that breeds success. There's a reason that elite football clubs all over the world create big academies to make sure that the players have the perfect environment for success. Everything from nutrition, training, and everything else that they need is going to be taken care of in those academies. And as a startup entrepreneur, you need to create the same thing for yourself to make sure that you actually succeed long term. If you don't, it doesn't matter how much progress you make, because a bad environment will always drag you back down. So strap in. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to build and how to do it in this next lesson. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about creating an environment for success. So what is your environment? Your environment is everything around you that basically affects how you think and act in the world, and how you perceive things, how other people end up perceiving you because of the things you do or don't do, or how you think, or how you look at things, right? So let's just get into it. This is going to be fairly basic presentation, but it's honestly like some of the most important stuff that if I had literally, like, I'm going to tell you this, right? If I had actually listened to this, rather than what I used to do was I would literally hear people talk about stuff like this and I wouldn't let it go into my brain because I didn't have a strong enough reason for it to. So I'm going to try and tell you why this is important, and also tell you exactly what to do in this video, because there are a couple of absolutely essential steps. So let's just go through. So let's go back here. Creating an environment for success. So these are the 3 main things I'm going to cover when I talk about your environment. First thing is behavioral conditioning. Second thing is health pillars. And third thing is people, right? These 3 things, if you want to actually be successful, and I am not saying this for some fluffy motivational stuff, these things are absolutely essential. And if you don't do them, if you don't apply focus to them, you actually will, like, you'll notice people who succeed and people who don't succeed, and you look at these things and you can tell a lot of the reasons why there's a difference there, right? So let's just get straight into it. First thing, right? Behavioral conditioning. So in a nutshell, you need to reward behavior that you would like to repeat and discourage behavior you don't want to repeat. And you also need a strong reason why. So I'm going to dive into each one of these points in a little bit more detail. So as I said, the first one, you need to reward behavior you'd like to repeat. So I've just actually recorded a video for my second YouTube channel about basically the sort of morning, not even the morning routine, how I sort of brainwash myself into enjoying work, right? So my life, if I'm 25 now, and I started this business when I was 20, and I would think quite deeply about everything. And I had a couple of years where like I worked really, really hard. I built the business, made really good money, and then I traveled the world. I lived a different lifestyle. I feel like I've gathered a fair bit of life experience in the last few years, and I haven't just locked myself in a room that whole time. I've got I've gone off and traveled. I've seen how other people live in different countries, seen how other people think. I've just sort of like accumulated some world views that I feel like are fairly balanced. I've seen the things I like and I don't like, right? And so when I talk about rewarding behavior, I'd like to repeat, right? So realistically, if you're coming into this program, right, you want to hit 10K a month. You want to go from 0 to 10K a month. So that is going to take an enormous, like a mental shift on the level of it's your entire personality changes almost. Like you'll still be the same. I'm still like, if you talk to me, you'd still notice a lot of stuff 5 years ago that I do now. Like in the way maybe I make jokes or the way I talk to people or, the sort of like, there's stuff that doesn't really change over time, right? You're always going to retain some stuff. But like in general, the way I view the world and the way I make decisions and do things massively changed. Like the way I used to think about things, I used to be so worried about the price of everything. And this is like something that it's kind of so hard to drill into at the start, because at the start, like most people, I suppose when they get into even buying courses like the one you've bought here, they sort of view it as like, they think, oh, what if I lose that money? But it's like, what if you lose, like the way you nearly frame yourself, the way you nearly frame it to yourself now is like, I don't look at like, if I'm going to buy something like somebody's program or mastermind, I honestly spend like crazy amounts of money compared to what I used to think. I don't think it's crazy anymore. But I remember spending like earlier in the year, I spent like $7,000 cash, literally at the click of a button, charged me $7,000. And $700 a month for a mastermind and a training for something. And years ago, I wouldn't have understood why spending money on stuff like that is like valuable. I would have kind of thought, I can get that information by myself. I can save, because my mind and the way I lived up until that point, up until I was 20, 21, was literally just like, I was in a poor person's mindset because that's how I lived. Like I grew up, like I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up in an environment where this is how you're sort of, this is what I'm talking about, behavioral conditioning. So if you're conditioned your entire life to where spending money is bad and saving money is good because you save a little bit of money, which is what everybody does where I'm from, which is like you work all week, you get your paycheck, and then you either spend it on a night out or spend it on whatever, or else you save it. And that's you getting richer, is you saving it, right? And so you essentially are conditioned to think, okay, saving money is the good thing. Not spending money is the best thing because that's how I get richer, right? But then whenever you get into business, it is a very difficult shift for me and for a lot of people it's a reason a lot of people like actually really struggle to grow a business or scale anything. There's so many people who start businesses and they'll make like a couple of grand a month and then they'll be stuck there for the rest of their life. They'll literally never be able to scale it. And it's something that it's a really big mental shift and it's really, really hard. And I will not lie, it's a hard thing to do, is like getting used to spending money in order to save time. But it's literally the only way you can possibly succeed. Like if you are not spending money, how are you going to compete? Like if I want to learn, let's say if I want to learn Facebook ads and I know that learning Facebook ads will make me an extra $500,000 a year, right? That is something like I know myself even now. I'm like, if I learned another skill and got good at that, I can add that to my business and it can just be a system that it's applied to my business. It's a machine that's built to make me money, right? But the upfront cost of that might be like 5-10 grand, and it might not seem like it's worth it because maybe I'm paying for coaching calls. I'm like, I'm just paying this guy 5 grand to just get on the phone with me. But it's like you're looking at the spending. You're looking at like, what am I getting for my money? You're like, is this actually good? You're not looking at the outcome you want. If you want an outcome, you have to understand like what do I need to put in to get this outcome? You can't look at it like I'm spending money, I might lose it. If you don't want to take risks, don't start a business. Like, do not start a business. You're not in the business of being safe. If you want to be safe, get a job, work in an ice cream shop, work as a teacher, work as a doctor, like follow the path, no problem. If you're in business and you want to grow, you're in the business of taking risks and solving problems and taking on a little bit of stress. And that's just straight up. Like, I am not going to sit and fluff this up for you guys. Like, you're in the business of taking risks. Right now, I'm taking massive risks. Like my even my business expenses, I'm investing very heavily in this business. And this month, like, I don't have enough money to pay my rent. Like, luckily, I've obviously saved and stuff from the past. And you need to have a balance of saving and spending, right? But the normal person would crumble in the situation I'm currently in. And 5 years ago, I would have crumbled because I'm like, oh my God, how much money am I spending? Oh my God, I don't have the money coming in. The same amount of money that's going out is not coming in. And I'm in a deficit. I'm gonna go broken. Like, no, can't think like that. I'm taking risks now. I trust myself to put the work in. I trust these things that I'm investing in to grow me in the future. And that's how you get to that point. Like, I wish like I could just change your mindset around this, because I know what 90% of your mindset, the people like you guys watching, I know how you're thinking, and it's a hard mental shift for you to make. Even maybe buying this program was difficult because you're like, oh, what if this guy scams me? What if it doesn't actually get me results? Oh, I'm a bit scared. Like, that's sometimes, like, I'll speak to people on the phone before they join, and they're like, oh, what if it doesn't work? And I'm like, yeah, but like, not even in, like what if, like, what you're currently doing isn't working? Like, how are you expecting to make a change without trying things and taking risks? Like, make a decision based off the information you have, make it quickly, and decide, okay, I think this risk will pay off because I have this thing, and I've these reasons to believe. I see this guy's student results, or I see, he's got a guarantee, or see whatever the little factors that help you make that decision are. Like, you have to understand you're taking risks. If you don't want to take risks, quit. Go get a job. Enjoy the 9 to 5. That is literally where it's going to end up for you. Like I can't repeat that enough. And I know this is a little bit off the topic of behavioral conditioning, but that's essentially what you've been conditioned your entire life. Your behavior, what is behavioral conditioning? It's essentially, my behavior is the way it is because I've repeated that behavior my entire life, right? So I've been told that saving money is good. Don't trust things that aren't like university. Like, don't trust people who have businesses online who will teach you stuff. Only trust like the traditional paths because it's safe and it's reinforced by everyone around you. Your parents will tell you that's safe. Your friends, everybody else is doing it. Like, other people's decisions, like sort of social proof or the sort of hive mind that people talk about, where everybody's going to uni, so you just do that. That has a very strong effect on how you make decisions. And because you're kind of like, majority of you guys are probably young watching these videos, it's like you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know how to do things. You're sort of just kind of thrown into the world at like 18, and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Everybody seems to be doing this university thing. Okay, I'll just do that. And then you're afraid to take risks in other ways because you've never had to take risks. But this is essentially one of the biggest skills in growing a business, is like understanding how to make decisions, understanding where and when to take a risk, and that's a behavioral shift you just have to make. And it's difficult, but that's why most people don't succeed. It's because they don't want to make that difficult change in their mind. And so that's actually a little bit off topic for what I was going to talk about here, but I think it's a very valuable shift, because what I really want to talk about is just on a micro level, right? So that's a sort of macro. Macro is big picture stuff, right? When I say macro, I mean big picture decisions, how you think and view the world, right? Micro is like your day-to-day things that you do. So the micro decisions of what I'm talking about here are, I obviously say here, you want to reward behavior you like to repeat, right? So what is the result? What is your end goal? What is your goal? It is, if you're going through this program, it's to get to 10 grand a month with copywriting. So if that's your end goal, what are you going to have to do to get to that goal? Work. You're going to have to work a lot of hours and do a lot of things right. Basically, it's just work, right? You have to work a lot to get to that amount, because you don't go from 0 to 10K by not doing any work. I don't care what any of these cunts tell you, like, sorry for cursing, right? I don't care what any of these people tell you about, oh, it's easy, you just passive income, bullshit, right? You have to put the work in. So if you know that you have to work to get to that point, you need to make work enjoyable, because probably growing up, you don't enjoy your work. maybe you've had a job that you really enjoyed because you worked with cool people, or it wasn't that hard and you get paid well or whatever. This is going to be like the work that you do as a copywriter and to build your first business. You will not be rewarded instantly. Some people get amazing results, and they like very, very quickly they get a win. And we try and encourage you, if you're in this program, we encourage you to post your copy in here. We'll give you reviews. We reward action. Like, we're really happy when you do things, because we need to enforce in you that doing things and getting towards your goal and actually putting in difficult work is going to pay off. And that's why you pay for people to coach you, because if you do this all by yourself, no problem, it's just going to take you a lot longer and you'll find it a lot more difficult. That's why coaching exists as a concept, right? So you need to reward behavior that you want to repeat here. And so I just made a video, as I said, how do I reward behavior? So every Monday morning I have to get up, right? I schedule calls for 8 a.m. with my team, because that means I don't even have to question waking up at 8 a.m. getting to work. I literally have to show up, because those guys I respect, the guys on my team I really respect, and I want to show up for them. So 8 a.m. I get up, I do my work, right? And what else do I do to enjoy that work, right? So I have to encourage the behavior of doing work. So what I usually do, and I don't know if you want to do this, I don't really care. I drink caffeine. This is 200 milligrams of caffeine. This is a lot, right? And I used to never drink caffeine, but I find this to be an absolute superpower for me. And probably I'll cut it out at some point and I'll have a different opinion, but this is where I'm currently at. I basically will drink a lot of caffeine. I'll get really, really hyped up. I'm like, right, work time, work time, work time. So much money to be made, so much business to be done, so many deals to be cut. Life's good. Work, work, work. I also moved to a country, we're going to talk more about environment soon, moved to a country with sunlight, because I get up every day, I go out for a quick walk. I usually walk to the shop and just buy this, and it means I'm getting sunlight, I'm getting a little bit of like walking, my blood's starting to flow, I'm getting in a good situation. And then I blast music whenever I get up. I literally blast music after my call, and I have mixes that I love listening to, like Fred Again or Bicep or whatever, like different DJs I like, and I just blast music, I drink my caffeine, I'm working, everything's going well, I'm texting everybody like, yo, it's a new day, let's go, let's go, let's go. That's the way you gotta be, right? Because if you're getting in and you're like, oh fuck, I have to work, oh, can't be bothered with this, like, you'll never want to work. You literally won't want to work, right? And I would recommend that you watch Andrew Huberman. I'll give you loads and loads of training in this course to help you get here, but you just have to constantly, like, if you really, really want to succeed in this, maybe you guys don't want to get to 100K a month or a million a month or like even further, but if you really want to succeed, realistically, you have to be listening to things on your own terms. And I'll give you things that go into depth on these things way more and better than I could teach you. I listen to Andrew Huberman podcasts because they're very in-depth and very valuable. There's one that he talks about, which is about alcohol, and it literally will make you not want to drink again. And it doesn't mean your life's going to be boring or shit. It's just like you're going to love working and love doing other things, and you'll be like, oh, alcohol is the worst. So I would recommend you listen to Andrew Huberman. All right. Hopefully you're taking notes on these things, by the way. If you don't have a pen and paper out, you need to get one right now. Pause this video and get one. Listen to Andrew Huberman. Who else do I recommend? I like the book Atomic Habits. It was quite good for behavioral conditioning. You'll really understand this stuff, and you can get a little bit deeper. And so that's rewarding behavior want to repeat. So, let's say even something I remember a mentor of mine used to tell me, Sam Ovens, he used to say whenever he did sales calls, which he didn't enjoy doing, and like sales calls are difficult, right? And you're going to have to do these when you're building your business. If he did his sales calls for the day, he would go and have a coffee, and he really enjoyed that process. And so that's kind of like, he'd go to a beach cafe that he liked, and he'd have a coffee, and he really reward himself for doing those couple of hours of difficult work that he didn't want to do. So that's the same thing. You need to start to build reward systems for the things that you need to repeat, which is work. And now I want to talk about discouraging behavior that you do not want to repeat, because this is also very important. So going out and drinking, this one's fairly easy, because if you start to reward yourself for the good behavior, the punishment for the bad behavior will become very evident, because you'll go out and drink, you'll get hungover, right? But it's interesting. Like, why do you repeat that? Why, like, if you know you're going to be hungover and you still drink, why do you do it? It's because it's not a painful enough discourager for you to not do it. Like, a hangover isn't strong enough because everybody drinks every weekend anyway. So if you start to understand like how to encourage, like if you honestly just use some discipline here and stop drinking, if that's something that you do, or whatever your vices may be,